person 61, so your energy engages at the rainbow road, and as soon as you touch the rainbow road, you actually sink through it. So the rainbow road's on top of you, and you like sink through this sewer top. So you're underneath the rainbow road. So I'm getting, this typically means like root chakra to me anytime we go under, but basically what happens is you start like talking into your hand, almost like you have a wire or a microphone in your hand and you have a flashlight, and you're literally walking through the sewers, and you're looking, and you look behind you, and you're looking in front of you, and I can tell you're looking for this perp, right? And you just keep scanning the area, and then up ahead you see this dark shadow figure, and it's kind of moving and taunting you, and so you send out this net of light. And so I know you, and I know what you do, so I know what this is now kind of defining. And you capture this dark shadowy figure, and you throw it over your back, and you start to walk with this figure, and then you get bounced up to the top of the rainbow road. And so as you get bounced up to the top of the rainbow road, this figure then presents itself in front of you, and the rainbow, you actually take the red of the rainbow and encase this figure, and then you take the orange of the rainbow and encase this figure, and then lastly you put this like bell top of the yellow, so it goes red, orange, yellow, and you've encased this figure in all these colors of light. And then this figure starts to take in the light. It takes the red, and then it takes the orange, and then it takes the yellow. And as it takes the yellow, then it transcends into this like angel-like figure and goes up into the like sixth dimension, into heaven. And so I I'm like, okay, so what's this mean? I know what this person does. So, what's the information here that we don't already know for this person? And so basically then I follow this figure up into heaven, and I see all these figures. So I assume all these figures that you've transitioned into the sixth dimension. I see all of these beings now standing in 3 circles up in heaven. And there's an inner ring, a middle ring, and then a larger ring. And there's all these divine beings now standing in heaven. And it's almost like they're all laser light focusing this light down onto the rainbow road in front of you. And it's almost like they capture another dark shadow figure, and then I see you walk up to the figure, and it's almost like there's this overall plan, or this overall connection between those in which you help in the physical or in the 3rd dimensional world or in the 4th dimensional world, and then once they transition to the 5th, into the 3rd and the 5th dimension, and then once they transfer into the 6th dimension, into heaven, it's almost like these people, it feels as if these people like know each other, or there's this unity between them. And it was really interesting because I know you transition over dark 5th dimensional trapped souls here in the 3rd, for 3rd dimensional people, and also just in your work, I know you help transition those 5th dimensional souls into the 6th dimension. And so it was interesting because it felt like there was this tie between all of these souls that you were finding and helping to transition. And it's like once they got into the 6th dimension, they were all like on your team in a sense. Like then it was almost like another piece of this puzzle fit together, and now they were targeting the next person you were supposed to help transition. And then I actually see myself walk up on the rainbow road and shake hands with you, and then it's almost like they put this beam of light down on me, and then you engaged with me, and you helped me. And so now I'm getting this tie of not just transitioning 5th dimensional beings over to the other side, but 3rd dimensional beings. And so as I'm understanding this more and the information's coming in more clearly, it seems as if there's some divine purpose here, and that you're meant to help. It's like you're meant to help not only the divine beings. It felt like these beings, and of course we're all fallen angels, right? But like it felt like these beings that you transitioned from the 5th dimension to the 6th dimension were like the most divine kind of angels in a sense, and somehow they connected to something in the third dimension. I was not super clear, and I feel like maybe you might even have more information on this, but there were like these 3 rings of divine beings on the other side that were all beings that you helped transition over, but now these beings are like pinpointing who you're working with here in the third dimension, and it's almost as if there's this really huge master plan. And I know there's always a huge master plan for each and every one of us, but it was really interesting in that it felt like there was a tie in the fact that I came in as a third dimensional being and you helped me and they pinpointed me. It's almost like there was this tie of transitioning people in the third and fifth dimension into their most highest version of light, or kind of aligning them with their divine path, or it's like you were picking to work with these fallen angels. I'm not sure. There was some connection between all of it, who you were specifically working with in the fifth dimension to transition to the sixth dimension, and then in the third dimension to open up to their divine purpose. So after I got this, and I know I didn't get an exact explanation, but after this happened and I made this connection, then I see you move through the portal, basically, and now I see you treading water, and you're swimming in a swimming pool, and you're swimming laps back and forth. You're not doing like doggy paddle. You're actually doing, what is that? The freestyle? I don't know, the arm over arm. And so you're doing this swim back and forth, and you just keep swimming in this water. And then all of a sudden I get this pull from your feet, and you get sucked down through the drain, and it's just like in the very beginning. You get sucked down through this drain, and now you're under the water in the sewer again. And so now I'm really drawn to root chakra and solar or sacral chakra, because sacral chakra is, of course, represented by water, and root chakra is always, the underneath of something. So for me, anyways, and so so you were in the sacral energy, which is the very emotional energy, and the emotional body, and then you get pulled down into your root chakra again. And so I'm getting maybe that there's something connected here from sacral and the emotional body, because I see that you were working out. It's like you were working out something in the emotional body, and now we're being dropped down into the physical body, into the root chakra. So from the root chakra, now I see you kind of searching again for these shadowy figures, but now instead of like searching and capturing a shadowy figure in a net, I see you like just sending out light, and I see you filling these tunnels just filled with light, and all these beings just ascend up into the sixth dimension. It's like you're not doing work anymore. You're just sending out light, and your ability to send out light is actually transforming the beings around you. And so then I see you move up into the sacral energy now, and now as you get into this pool in this body of water, you're actually floating inside of an inner tube, drinking like a fruity cocktail drink, right? It's like now you're a vacation. You're not having to work hard anymore in your sacral chakra or in your emotional body. Now there's no work in the emotional body. The emotional body's calm, and you're like vacationing. So I get that there's this transition. Like, so number one, you were working hard in your emotional body, and this connection, trying to, I guess, transition over fifth dimensional beings into the light. And then as soon as we kind of establish that there might be something going on in the sacral chakra, their emotional body, then, as soon as you transition to like capturing these things that you think are dark entities and sending them into the light, it's now as if you just send out light, and everything that is light moves into the light. And so it's almost like your job gets so much easier when you can visualize these things as light, as components of light, as maybe what their true form is, instead of seeing them in the opposite, I get, maybe. So as soon as this happens, then I watch you move from the pool now, and you walk out, and there's like a big pool house, and I know this is your Akashic records, and it's like almost like a Frank Lloyd Wright home, right? It's like the boxy, really beautiful, but like all windows. And so I see you toweling off, and as you move to the door of the Akashic records, you open the door, and as you open the door, through all of the windows, everything just becomes light, and you get on your knees, and you're almost in like a praying stance, and just everything is filled with light. And so again, I'm brought back to filling things with light, or recognizing the light, filling with light, being the light, seeing the light. These are the things that are coming to me. And so as this moves on, then I see you move up a level, and we call. So as soon as you move up a level, we call down your higher self, and I ask your higher self, what's for the greatest good for this person to know at this moment in time? And your higher self basically reviews with me and says, you know, that you would that you are, what were the words? Basically, that it's your destiny to see the light in people, and to allow your ability to see the light in them, to let them remember the light within themselves. And I was getting pulled back to how you do your work in like depossessions, and seeing these dark things in people, and capturing it, and sending it up to the light. And so now I'm getting that there's almost a disconnect in if we see that which is dark and we allow that to transmute into light, we're not allowing the person to therein see the light in themselves and allow it to turn into light within themselves, and to learn the lesson, or have that karmic lesson be added into their kind of memory and their remembrance of who they are. And so I get that if you can see the dark for the light, which you know it is, because I know that when you do this work, you always see this dark entity that's inside of somebody transition into the light. But if you can see that dark entity when it's in the person for the light, and almost get that person to go through the healing process of understanding why this component of themselves has turned dark, or turned absent of the energy and the light, and bring that light back into them. And I feel like almost that's what this team of people are doing around you. It's almost like they're honing this beam of light into these people to allow them to recapture that light, that soul component of themselves that they've forgotten or denied, and has now become a dark component of themselves. So if you can, since you have the clairvoyance, if you can see into these people and see the darkness for the light, I believe that this allows these people then to transition even more fully into their divine light. And you know this because this is what you do, and I feel this is so a part of you. But it's just this slight shift in what you do, and it's almost like by being able to do this and just see everybody as light instead of the components of them that hold the darkness, that you can that it's a lot easier on you as well, and you're not working so much in your emotional body, because in the emotional body I feel like there's this creation of a duality within you almost, that you have to then go between positive and negative, or bad and good, or light and dark. And if you can just acknowledge everybody for light, and even their darkest parts as light, that this allows them to transition that much quicker into that divine light being that's there as that angelic form in that sixth dimension. So this is what I received with so much light and love.